Good morning, everybody. Welcome to St. John United Church of Christ for our Sunday morning Sunday school devotion. I'm Pastor Jana Myers, and I am so happy that you are here. We have a really cool lesson to talk about. We have a really great way to think about some new things this morning. So, if you want to get right into it, grab your lesson. You can find it either in the weekly email that went out on Thursday. You can find it on the post on the Facebook page that has all the worship resources for today. You can also find it where it was originally published, which is on the UCC.org website. We are reading a lesson from the Still Speaking Writers Group. It was published on April 20th by the daily devotional section of our webpage. So right under resources, it's right there. And this week, we're reading from the Reverend Kaija Duja. She writes out of Brooklyn, and her lesson is called Flip the Script, focusing on Genesis 3:7. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for themselves. I left my first school with a powerful belief. I was terrible at math. This haunted me for the next 17 years of my life. But here's the problem. I was wrong. I wasn't horrible at math. One day I had to do a multivariate regressive analysis to understand a problem I needed to resolve. I had to get it. And I pushed myself past this belief about what I could and couldn't do. And the symbols and the numbers on the page started speaking to me. They became a language I did understand. As I learned to shut off the false claims I believed about myself, I flipped the script. We all have a story someone has told us about ourselves, often formed out of a challenging moment. We face a challenge. Someone crafts a story around it, and we start repeating that story about ourselves and giving it more color and shape. It becomes a full-blown script without our realizing it. And then, when life takes us off script and when the script isn't right, we don't know what to do. What are the scripts in your life? Are you a terrible communicator? Do you just attract the wrong kind of partners? Are you bad with money? Etc., etc. Think about your scripts. As you do, pray for the blessing of recognizing them for what they are, stories imposed by those who decided to be the playwrights in our lives. You do not need to be an unwitting actor in a play you thought was real. You can be free from this. By the grace of God, actually. You already are. I wonder what scripts define you, what you tell about yourself, or what has been told to you. I wonder who you really are. See, I have a story about myself, which is that I am always late. Not like terribly late, but always a little bit of late. And it has for years plagued me as something that makes me think that I am not good enough. That no matter what it is, something always gets in the way and there's nothing I can do about it. But recently I sat down to think about why I am always late. Is it because I don't plan well? Is it because I don't get up on time or don't leave the meeting on time? And the answer is usually no. The reason why I have found that I am late is usually because somebody else needs to talk, and I want to listen. Whether it's the kids wanting to tell me about what's happening to them in their day, whether it's somebody at church who needs a listening ear, whether it's a story that I haven't heard before from a stranger. And I realize that, yes, I am often late. If not, I'm not always late, but I am often, very often late. But it's not because I can't be on time. It's because I have chosen to hear someone's story. And in the moment that I realized that, I thought, wow, I have like a superpower. I'm like a super listener. Yes, maybe I'm late, but that's not a bad thing. What it is a willingness for me to hear those around me. And all of a sudden, instead of feeling terrible, I started doing something better. When there was a story I really needed to hear, I started saying, hey, can we pause and can I keep hearing this at this time? Realizing that if I didn't get where I was going to go, there was more story I was going to miss. It doesn't always work. I am still often late because there are some stories that must be heard. But you know, it was a script that I was able to flip. I am not incapable. I am not unable. I am not at the whim of the clock and can do nothing about it. If I get to cast myself in my own play, the definition would be Jana, overactive, caffeine addict, great listener. And if that's how I want to define myself, well, then that's who I get to be. So who do you want to be? Kind and compassionate, energetic, relaxed, patient, hopeful, reasoning, logical, exploring, inventive. And who have you been told that you are not? And who told you that? Because you see, we have a lot of things we're told about ourselves, who we want to be, what we actually are, where we've been. And a good deal of it is not true and not helpful. So in this season of witnessing the resurrection, we have to acknowledge that if everybody believed what was normal, that no one could get up from their grave and change the world by manifesting the God who is over all, we wouldn't be here. But in fact, the script was flipped on that Easter morning. The tomb was opened and Christ arose, lived and walked, breathed and changed lives before and after his death. So if God can flip the script on that, if that is resurrection, certainly that's what's already happening in your life. Scripts can be flipped. God can intervene, bring life and change where you thought you could only be late. And new life can flow from the realization that you are not bound in that tomb. Because if anybody hasn't told you yet today that you are a child of God, that you are loved, that you are amazing and enough just as you are, let me be one of the playwrights who writes you as you really are, loved enough just as you are. There may be things you want to change. There may be places that we can all grow. But at your very core, who cares if you're bad at math or always late? For you are God's beloved child. And your life is a witness to the resurrection. So it's time for you to pick up that new script and live. I wonder what you will change, what you will edit, what you will erase about yourself so that you may live in to the script that God has written for you instead of the one the world has. Would you pray with me? God, help me flip and cast out these scripts on my life that you didn't write. Amen. Whatever script you have about yourself, whatever way you've written or the world has written for you, I hope that you will come to church, that you will come with us as we collectively seek to write our future in a new and life-giving way. So, take a few minutes, get more coffee, be late or on time. It's all okay. And come right back here at 10 o'clock or a little after or a little before. Either way, we'll be here ready for you. See you soon.